Welcome all to STTO Talk Live. I'm your host, Guy La Rochelle, and our subject on episode 10 is Are the skilled trade dying out? And of course, you'll be able to tell that this is a real live one, which I'll be starting out. Now, we can start out with the fact that I have been a skilled trade for at least 45 years. Obviously, I've seen a lot of changes. And that's why I decided to make this live thing because I'm hearing that a lot of people are pretending that the trades are dying. There are some situations where, yes, you can think about it. One example is it is not the trades that are making boxable houses from Elon Musk. They're made in a factory and then they all open up. So, why do we need skilled trades then? If everything's going to start being like that, that could be where some young people are saying, why would I get into this? The second thing is if you put yourself in a situation, whether you're thinking of going back to school for something or getting into the trades, you're full of debt and you got in a situation that you can't go lower with your income, then you're wondering, how can I make it in the trades? So, getting into the trades has got to be planned early, even if it can be planned later if you're starting a second career. But it has to be done in a sense where you're thinking about all aspects of it, not just the aspect of being able to study the new technology or the code books or learning new math. It is not that. It is to turn around and think about yourself and say, I have to pare down as low as I can because a trade can take 4 to 5 years to get under your belt. And the wages are set up to be from the first year a percentage of the journeyman's wage or journey person's wage. And then the second year, same thing, third, fourth, and fifth, till you get to the full price. And a lot of people, from what I hear, are turning around and saying, first of all, I've heard there's no respect. Okay, when somebody says there's no respect for the skilled trades, it kind of makes sense. Because if you're not on top of your life and you start becoming addicted to alcohol or painkillers because of the tremendous stress your body maybe is going through or your mind is going through, then yes, you can lose control on that. That would be a tough one. But I'd say the opposite. When somebody isn't like that and they've been in the trades for years, they're very respected because obviously somebody comes to them for advice. They don't whine about their past problems, they whine about their learning of the past and in the future. It's not always a good thing to pretend that, oh, skilled trades aren't respected. They are if you put your effort in to be a real professional. It doesn't matter how you were treated, you are the one who decides the destiny. But it's not always done by yourself. There are some people or some situations where you can get what's called a sponsor, a skilled trades apprenticeship sponsor. That person would be able to help you through your apprenticeship giving you the courage to keep going, and keeping your mind based on not what other people think about you, but how you're going to go in the future with the trade. Now, there's other aspects like no money, because we're hearing people that are mediocre in the trades not getting the wages they should. Most skilled trades know what they can do, they know what they can be charged out as, and the employer will know he'll be making money with that one if that skilled trade is needed and the efforts put in by the person that has the license holder. So it's not always a money thing. Depending on how you have evolved in the trades, can be a money thing. If you didn't get enough exposure to all the different facets of the trade, how can you blame the employer? There are many facets that are not covered through apprenticeships, because sometimes people get stuck in an apprenticeship that's more residential and they get no aspects of commercial, industrial, or institutional work. And then you get the opposite, where sometimes in a big situation, especially in unions, they'll get stuck on big projects and never know what it's like to be the residential side or the commercial side. So it takes a while to be able to take in all the facets. But if you're focused, you're not wasting any time at getting that exposure, and you're not worried about how your future is going to be. You concentrate on the present to get all of the different aspects within your trade under your belt. Sponsors help with that because they can follow the whole roadmap of what you should be learning for the whole trade throughout its apprenticeship. The the hardest thing too is you, you can't wait to make money. It's like I have other aspects in my life I have to get going. But you'll find that most people should concentrate on having the most skills in the skilled trades so they can offer it to an employer. Then they won't worry about the money part. They'll see that they are beneficial to that employer. If you find you're not, find another one. You could be going to somebody that's strictly residential that can't pay more than a residential rate. But if you can offer him a way of getting into a commercial work where they can pay more, or institutional work, it's a win-win. In my case, when I was young, I was told from Sarnia, Ontario, south where the Chemical Valley is, that if I turned around as a gas fitter and became a gas fitter one, my wages would jump up. But yet I'm just a gas fitter that can deal with bigger things. Sure. So I would have been miserable as a gas fitter too, stuck in small residential, small commercial stuff. Get the gas fitter one, it's unlimited. I get to go to any industrial site with their permission, working in areas that are not classified, like the administration buildings, and work on huge makeup air units that I'd never seen, but that the employer goes, hey, because he's got those skills, we can charge. We can charge a lot more because they're few and far between people that want to move up that. So there is no such thing as waiting for the money. It's your experience, your knowledge, and how you articulate it is what's going to get you the money. And the aspect of the unions sits at about the same thing. There is no way they're going to do it for you. You're the one who's going to have to move up. So if all of a sudden you're a tradesman in the union and you get yourself a second trade, or you get yourself an addition to that one trade you have, you jump into another category, you make more money. And the union didn't say, well, you should try to go up as much as you can in the wage categories. It was you who had to have that inkling of saying, I can see the difference. I'm giving examples here. This rate pays this, but when I go to the next level, it pays 1.25 times. When I go 2 levels up, it could pay double or 1.5 times. And there's my money. And all I had to do was just look at the agreement and then focus on getting to those levels. So nothing is done by other people. Apprentices always can get the greatest strength if they have sponsors. And I am not talking about employers. Employers provide mentorship. Sponsors are able to work with you to get you into the trades, registered with the government, so that you are a registered apprentice and guide you through the roadmap. So that in itself helps your wage go up. Because if you're meeting all the needs, next year you're that much more useful, and they won't mind paying you what the second year apprentice gets as a percentage of the journey person. But if you learn nothing, you're going to be at the same level for the 5 years because you just won't absorb anything. I don't see how they're going to pay you more. They're going to not see your value. So it's not an easy thing. I don't want it to be an easy thing for anybody to think, oh, this is just like a cakewalk. It is not a cakewalk. It's also, too, very difficult when nothing is going your way and you're fully licensed not to think about becoming self employed. Because just because employers around you don't want to go for the big commercial contract or the institutional contract or the industrial contract, it doesn't mean that you can't start up because you're qualified to go into those bigger places and deal with what's handed to you there, as opposed to trying to convince an employer, oh, come on, I know what I'm doing. That doesn't work. That is not in their business plan. Self employment would turn around and have a business plan and an understanding of how you'll find your way into the bigger paying and the more, um, I say, stable self employment routes. That could even be as a subcontractor. So it's to be thought about as, if I can't find what I want and I've moved up and I have these qualifications and nobody else can use them, it's up to me to try to get myself self employed, subcontract under a small guy, even. As long as you're well protected and you can get on to where the big money is, he'll get his, you'll get yours. Now, what happens, a lot of people think that apprentices, they get bored, you know, and it's like they're wanting to hop from job to job. We can say that that could be something. I don't understand how you can be bored. You can only be bored, again, if you're not guided by a sponsor that says, you've already learned this, you're learning this today. You've already learned that, you're learning this today. Whatever. He gives you the roadmap. So hopping from job to job is just to fulfill all of the requirements that are given to you by the government to become that skilled trade license holder. It's not the employers, it's not the sponsor. The government has set the agenda as to what's to be learned in what phase of your apprenticeship, and it's up to you. And a sponsor can help you a lot because he keeps you guided on what it should be the next steps. So it's not always a problem to hop from job to job, because at the end, when you're fully licensed, that hopping will be able to give you the experience to go into the different fields you hopped into as you were finishing up your apprenticeship. Then, if once you're a license holder, you want to focus on one area or both areas or three areas, who cares? There could be so many different areas depending on the trade you have. Then you have an aspect where you can go between them all because you have had the exposure throughout your apprenticeship of what it would be like once you're licensed. So, as for if the trades are dying or not, I think it has to do with if somebody inside believes that life is going to be just handed to them, that because they have a license, they have a paycheck. Sorry, that doesn't even happen anywhere. You have to be respected. You have to put your best foot forward and want to be all you can be in that trade. Then people will believe in you and they will give you the chance to show what you're made of. And we have always, at Skill Trades Tutors Online, said that apprenticeships are one day at a time and not forever. See you on the next one. STTO Talk Live out.